I hate being an adult.
Being an adult is wanting to cry 7 days a week, but only having the time and energy to cry 3 days a week, and then getting to decide what those 3 lucky days are going to be.
Hi and welcome to the channel. Let's get into today's video.
Not to be dramatic, but I think the worst part about being an adult is that you basically have to choose between financial stability or like happiness.
Adulting, a word that has come to represent the daily grind of modern life. In this video, we'll be looking at what the world looks like for young adults today. Looking at the surveys done, we can see that a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and people are really worried about the cost of living. Income isn't rising as it's supposed to be, youth unemployment rate is high, and basically our mental health is taking a hit. To talk about what young people are going through, we have to talk about 3 main sections that may or may not have led us into a loneliness pandemic. Part 1, the cost of living.
1970, the average home was $15,000. It is now $436,000. It has gone up 29 times. Rent was $108, is now $2,000. That's gone up 20 times. College was $500. It's now $11,000. That's gone up 20 times. Gas was 36 cents. It's now $3.80. That has gone up 10 to 12 times. But what about the income? In 1970, the average person was making $9,000. Today, they're making $56,000. That has only gone up 6 times compared to everything else. But this is where it gets sad. In 1970, the average household had 3.5 children. Today, it's only 1.9. And the crazy part is that back in 1970, the average household, 47% were dual income. It has now jumped to 65% is dual income. So millennials and Gen Zers under the household are putting in more hours than the boomers did. We're both working 40 hours a week. But you got way more bang for your buck and more children. You got to expand your family, own a house. Things are so drastically different. The birth rate is plummeting because people can't afford it. So we need to make a change so that we can turn this around.
Gen Z doesn't want to work anymore. That doesn't mean they're not working. They are working. They're working 40 hours a week, and they still can't afford to live on their own. This is the difference between poverty in capitalism and poverty before. Poverty before, it was like, I'm in poverty because I'm like unable to work or I'm sickly or something. Poverty in capitalism is you are in poverty because you are working. You are in poverty while you are fully working. They can't afford food and rent and healthcare. These aren't luxuries. These are basic necessities. And hell, who wants to work all the time to not be able to afford things? To barely be able to afford to live? Why do y'all hate workers so much? You are one. I hate to be the one to tell you, but you're not going to get rich. Only 1 in every 1,000 of you is going to get rich. Maybe less. You're not going to Bezos out, I'm sorry. And so all the work you're doing, you're riding for your boss. You're riding for the rich person you're never going to be. And you're stopping workers like yourself from getting a better cut.
It's no news that Gen Z didn't have a great entry into adulthood. Instead, we got COVID, lockdowns, outbreak of wars, inflation, depression, recession, and unrest arising in many countries. Well, we can say it's the Wild West out here. For most, the dream of living alone and achieving financial independence is out the window, basically.
You know what's crazy is how expensive going out has gotten, and the fact that Gen Z is like, we're just not doing it anymore. We're not doing it because I would say, at least in the city that I'm in, it costs at least $100 to $150 if you want to have a night out with your friends. The average drink where I'm at is like $20 to $25 once you put tip in there. So if you're having 4 or 5 drinks, that's well over $100. And then God forbid you're calling an Uber. God forbid you're calling an Uber there and back. I don't know how you're going to financially recover from that. And it's just crazy because the other thing I'm seeing is the pre. I have never pre'd more in my life than these past few months, and that is including when I went to university 6-7 years ago. No one is going out these days unless we're preing at someone's house. It's literally just not happening. I'm not going out unless I'm going to my friend's place, having 99% of the night there, to be honest, and then sneaking out for 1 or 2 cheeky drinks at the end of the night. And you know what the sad part is too? Nowhere is busy. That's the crazy part. It's like you go to these places that are charging $20 to $25 a drink. Every single one of my like top 10 favorite bars, favorite clubs, favorite restaurants that I've gone to in the city that I'm in the past few months has not been nearly close to jam-packed. Not what I remembered it on like a Tuesday night 5 years ago. And it's just crazy because we keep seeing all these articles about Gen Z being the most sober generation. It has nothing to do with us being good people. I ask any of my friends, we're not going out because we're in relationships. We're not going out because we're getting older. We're just not going out because we don't want to spend $500 and take out a line of credit to go out.
Due to the high cost of rent, living, and basically everything, young people have opted to live with their parents.
I don't think there's anything wrong with adults living with their parents.
I don't think people understand. Right now, the average amount of money you have to make in order to live by yourself is $60,000 a year, meaning you have to get paid $30 an hour. Come here. And that is just to cover rent. That's not including furniture. That's not including other bills. That's not including car issues, right? If you were to put all that together, you'd have to make about $75,000 a year, meaning you have to get paid over $35 or $40 an hour. So if you know somebody that is making you feel bad because you live at home with their parents, unless they are making $40 an hour at their job, they're definitely lying to you about their living situation. They either live in a closet or they have 4 roommates. There's nothing wrong with staying with your parents right now, because at this moment in time, the new generation, they can't save any money. The only thing going up is the cost of things, not the actual payment towards their lives.
Living at home is like literally the most frustrating thing in the world, and like I feel so ungrateful for like the way that I'm feeling, because I know that I'm like lucky that at least I like have a home to go to after I like left my job. Like I'm really lucky, but at the same time, like it just contributes to like so much of like a loss in identity and like a loss in independence. Like someone is home all the time and I like don't have any privacy and I like don't have like any like spaces to myself. Coming back to like your childhood bedroom that like is just so not the person you are anymore, and like having all this like random shit and like it's not your space and it doesn't feel like your space anymore. And like side note, like my mom just decided to start renovating like half our house, so now like we're all on one side of the house and like in like another tiny room that's like not mine, and my stuff is everywhere. Not to mention like I don't see my fucking friends anymore. Like I genuinely can't just go like grab a coffee with someone after work or like meet them for lunch. Like I'm just in a different town, like miles and miles away. And don't even get me started on like the fact that you probably can't even date anyone because your parents are like all up in your business and like you've nowhere to like no space to bring them into. And I feel so stupid for complaining about all of this, because like people literally like are homeless and dying, and like I'm complaining about being in my parents' house. So, champagne problems.
When you live with your parents, the rent is free, but you pay with your mental health.
So true, queen.
And my mental health has been on the struggle bus for far too long, so it's time for me to get my own place.
I'm choosing being broke so I can protect my peace.
The renting market right now is foul.
Like really bad.
Luckily, I had a friend who had an empty room in her flat, so she's kindly letting me stay with her. So we have a lot to prepare for the move, such as decluttering, packing, unpacking the trauma so I can leave my parents on good terms.
Yeah, that one is gonna be hard.
Living with family is a great way to save money, but it comes with the mental cost. Let me know what you think about living with family in the comments. Part 2, the 9 to 5 struggle.
Why is it that I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live? 40 hours a week makes me $2,000 a month, and my rent is $1,660. So I work 40 hours a week so I can have a 2-bedroom apartment. I don't know what to do. I'm not made for this.
I know I'm probably just being so dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job, like my first 9 to 5 job after college, and I'm in person and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me fucking forever to get there. There's no way I'm gonna be able to afford living in the city right now, so that's off the table. Like fucking duh, if I was able to walk to work and it'd be fine, but I'm not. So it literally takes me, like I leave here, like I get on the train at 7:30 and I don't get home till like 6:15 earliest, and then like I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. Like I don't have energy to work out. Like that's out the window. Like I'm so upset. Oh my god. Nothing to do with my job at all, but just like the 9 to 5 schedule in general is crazy. Being in the office 9 to 5, like if it was remote, you get off at 5 and you're home and everything's fine. But like I'm not home. It takes me long to get home, and like people that drive to the office, like you don't get off at 5. And I know it could be worse. I know I could be working longer, but like I literally get off, it's pitch black. Like I don't have energy. How do you have friends? Like how do you have time to like meet like a guy? I don't know. Like how do you have time for like dating? Like I don't have time for anything, and I'm like so stressed out. And I'm also getting my period, so that's why I'm all emotional. But like, am I so dramatic? It's fine.
It's no news that the attitude of work of Gen Z has been hot topic, with most employers labeling Gen Z as hard to work with or lazy. But are we really lazy, or are we just tired of taking the bare minimum? Gen Z has seen how their parents and grandparents have been treated in the workforce, and after the first IBM massive layoff in July 1993, workers have now realized that rather irreplaceable, they are now easily replaceable. All this is now the result, or can be the result, of Gen Z adopting the bailan and quiet quitting attitude towards work, whereby they put in what they're just paid to put in.
Your job. Do only what you are paid to do. You are not slave. You are not office bitch. Hard work is bad for you. Hard work.
I don't really care. Kim, where are you going? Kim?
Part 3: Financial Stability.
We need a hustle in order to pay rent, pay food, and just like survive out here.
I got 2 jobs.
I have 3 jobs. I work as a teacher, I work in retail, and I work in a gallery as well.
Do you know what it takes to get a minimum wage serving job that doesn't even require a college degree in this day and age? I got let go from my corporate job, and I'm going to grad school in the fall. So I just need a job for like 4 months, like literally just a summer job basically. And they opened a brand new steakhouse just right by my house. And I read online that the serving job is $1,200 a week. I'm like, oh my God, that's insane. Like I could make $10,000 easy in that period of like 4 or 5 months. I apply online. We all know where that goes. The garbage.
I really enjoyed watching the last video. You should check him out on TikTok to watch the full video. It's a crazy story. So how do we attain financial freedom in this economy? Is it possible? For most people, it seems like a pipe dream. But when you see your mates making millions online and going on these lavish vacations, you can't help but wonder, what are they doing that I'm not? Sometimes we need to remember that some of these people actually come from money. Not everyone got lucky. Not everyone is sharing what they actually do online. There's this serious push to hustle and the glamorization of hustle culture that makes one think if they're not getting the bag, then they're not doing something right. But with hustle comes burnout. And even with working 3 jobs, some people can't still make ends meet.
I have been struggling a lot with money. There's living paycheck to paycheck, and then there's not even living paycheck to paycheck and simply not affording your basic bills. I live in San Diego. I moved here about a year ago after many months of planning with a lot of money in savings and income prospects, but those savings ran out and those income prospects did not come through. And for the last many months, I have been scrambling day after day, stressing so much about how to just get through my next grocery bill. I was on a government food assistance program, CalFresh, and I am on a government healthcare assistance program, Medi-Cal. I also was getting some assistance with my internet bill and my gas and electric bill, but the rent prices are just astronomical. I knew it was expensive living here, but I didn't know it was expensive until living here and being suffocated with the prices. My rent for 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment, not even 600 square feet, is $2,595 per month. I signed on having a financial plan, but also not fully understanding the ins and outs of those expenses. It all went out the window. And the lease early, you might say. Well, then I'd have to pay $7,200. Especially with my baseline mental state of depression and stress, it has been really hard to find a job and have a job with enough hours to sustain the basic bill of rent plus everything else. I've thankfully gotten some loans from family, but I'm not able to lean on them for that much. I need to be supporting myself. The weight and the pressure of it has been just crushing. This hasn't given me time as a young person to just explore what I'm passionate about and try to find fulfillment and a purpose and not feel so utterly lost, because all I have to think about is how to get my next dollar. I've made a lot of mistakes with money along this journey, but the prices here are beyond insane and undoable. And I felt a lot of shame for this, being unemployed from time to time, sleeping in from depression and all of this stress, the shame and guilt of not being able to afford my bills. And there's this huge stigma about that in this culture, and your just worth as a human being being diminished. I want to just put this out there because I know other people are struggling with this.
Please let me know who I can turn my 2 weeks notice into to resign from being an adult, because it's ghetto out here. Let me tell you, I just got my tax returns back, right? Yeah, I did them late. It is what it is. Finally got my tax returns back, only to find out, you know how much money Uncle Tom done snatched from me? $25,000. I don't even make buku's money. 25,000? 25,000? That's a lot of money to just be like, yeah, we need that. For what? For what? I'm probably not going to even be able to enjoy the benefits of Social Security when I get to the age to be able to get it. So why are you taking 25 G's from me? I need to understand this. I'm like, it's not, being an adult's not ghetto because of the bills. No, it's not ghetto because you need to know what you don't know and figure out how to know it. It's because y'all taking my bread. You told me to get an education, you told me to get a job, did those things, and now you taking all my money and giving me a little bit of a refund. And what's crazy is I still owe the state of North Carolina some bread. Why I gotta owe something every year? This is the first time I get a little bit of a federal return, and I still owe somebody money and y'all already took 25,000?
It's wild how this place is truly the wild, wild west. And the way us as our generation, millennials, everything they told us to do to be successful in the US, the rules have changed. That's not the case.
Oh, that's not been the case for a while.
You see what's happening? They told us, come in the US, focus on your books, get your college degrees, get your career, and you're gonna live the American dream. And bro, like the math ain't right now.
It's a fallacy, right?
It's a fallacy, right?
Yeah.
We're all here, a whole generation of us are like, WTF, bro. Y'all told us to do this, and we're out here in the world we live in, especially here in the US, bro.
Yeah.
We could, like, how are people surviving, bro?
Exactly.
Why are we here? Then that begs the question, why are you here?
And then you start thinking deeper.
I'm not even from here. That's what I said. I'm like, I'm not even from here. This is not like when I go home, the happiness I feel, even by just not doing anything, by just being at home all day, not doing anything, that peace, I can't do it. I can't get it here.
Bro, there was 3 days I didn't leave the house.
That's what I'm saying. Just that.
Part 4, our solution.
To anyone in their early 20s, how are you doing? Because I am struggling, and I have to constantly remind myself that I am in early adulthood, and for the first time in my entire life, I am in complete control of my life, and I am completely responsible for myself. And that is too much. That's a lot, especially coming from childhood, where you are so taken care of. For the first time in my entire life, I have to decide my finances, I have to do taxes, I have to figure out what to save, when to save, how to save. I don't know yet. But apparently I feel like I should be putting money somewhere to save for things. And then I also have to choose a career. And it has to make me passionate and happy. And I have to either go to school for that or not. And the society has input on that. And then I also have to decide, am I going to be a healthy person? When do I eat? How do I eat? What do I eat? How do I take care of my body? How do I physically, like, self-care? You know, what do I do with my time? That is so much. That is so much to just do well all of a sudden. When before, people told me where to be, when to be, what to do, where to do all that stuff. I was taken care of pretty darn well. And now it's just all on me? And I'm supposed to just be thriving? No, I will take my time, but I put a lot of pressure on myself. And if you also put a lot of pressure on yourself and you're in your early 20s and you feel like this is all a lot, bring it in. You're doing a good job. I know you are, because there's no way you're not. because it's a lot. Look at my hair. I love you. You rock. You got this.
Let's face it, adulting is hard and daunting. To gain back our sanity, we have to take small steps. Let's identify our challenges, spend time doing things that we like, put your mental health first, put real friendships first. We got this, and I'm sending you virtual hugs. You are doing okay. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in another video.